Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition. Getting off to a late start, procrastinating. 9:30 p.m. Eastern. As the Devils back in the series after a roller coaster week. I'm your host Sam Wu here with Beer Baron and Shorts Guy. The original three. The original three.
The OG.
Devils fans at a bar talking Devils hockey.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm telling you.
Well,
speaking of that, I just came from a bar talking about Devils hockey. I'm doing 3 for 3 tonight, Sam. I'm pulling a Sam Wu. I'm doing
triple shift.
Yeah, I'm triple shifting tonight, just like you normally do.
Yeah, well, it's not easy, right?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get from point A to point B when you have to rush home from such a good time. I didn't want to leave. American Whiskey was such a good time. The vibe was great. I could have hung out there all night long, but hey, you got to do your job, and here's my job doing the podcast. So,
but a roller coaster week, though. I mean, if you think about it, it's because Monday was Game 7. Like that was just unreal.
Damn, that feels like that was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I know. It feels so long ago.
That feels so long ago. And I feel like I just got my voice back, and then I lost it again today. But, the fact that was only Monday, that's crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
And
not even a week ago.
Game 3 of this series. But, damn, what a game.
I know.
What a game. Oh, my God.
Jeez.
I know you were there in the building. I was there in the building. It just felt, walking into the game, you felt like not confident, but you just felt happy, comfortable. I don't know if it's still the hangover from last series where it's like this overwhelming, just like feel good kind of, hey, we did something great so far. Let's see how far it can go. But walked in the building today, dude, and I'm there with my daughter. We had such a good time. It was like this. Not only did they score 8 goals, but it was just the way they scored and who scored. I think was the most important tonight.
Agreed.
I would agree. The vibe from even before when I got to American Whiskey at 51 Edison Place, right outside of the Prudential Center. It was a jovial vibe. Everyone was having a good time, and I know Sam and I kind of spoke about this offline earlier in the day. Like we went into today knowing it could be kind of a kind of like a downer kind of like a downer mindset because we're down 2-0 in the series, coming home, blowouts in each game, but everyone was there. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Everyone was there. Everyone was having a good time. Everyone was having adult beverages outside in the street on Edison Place. And just right from when I got there, about 12:40-ish, it was just a good time. And we brought that into the building. We did our part. 8 goals is great, but we cannot shy away from the fact that we let up 4. And it shouldn't have felt like, at least to me, it felt like we needed those 8 goals to win the game when, scoring 7 or 6 should win you comfortably, but yet even with an 8-4 win, I was like, this could go the other way. I don't know. That's a defensive goalie mindset of me, and I know we spoke about it on After Dark. It's like I don't like these type of high scoring, wild games. It's just not in my nature to enjoy them because of the defensive side of me that I can't get away from.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like seeing them score 8 times is great, but watching them give up 4 goals and 2 of them like back to back on a,
on the single
when you're on a power play, you're giving up 2 shorties like back to back like that within under a minute. Like, we're lucky we had an 8, at that point it was 7, but we're lucky we had a 7-2, lead in that situation because the Hurricanes are dangerous, man. They can score really quick. And they've proved that all series. Like they can come in and they can score really quick, and they can, they've made Vitek and Schmid both look like backup goaltenders. And Vitek he had an okay game today. He had an okay game. I'd say like, he had some
Mm-hmm.
really strong saves. He had some really, really good moments, especially when the score was low. But overall, like, outside of that penalty shot, the Aho goal I thought was a little weak. I thought even the goals that he let up on the PK. Now don't get me wrong, I was also watching it live, so I have to go back and actually rewatch the game to see how were they really good shots, were they really high danger opportunities. But I don't know. I felt like those two goals that were let up on the PK or on the power play
Mm-hmm.
were a little soft too, and it didn't make me. I wasn't too thrilled that he let in 4 goals again tonight. So I don't want to say there's a goalie controversy because your heart and your head probably says that they go back to Vitek since he won. You go back to Vitek for the next game, but therein lies the big question. Are the Devils going to be able to replicate how they came out offensively and do that again? Because if so, okay, they'll be fine. But if they find themselves in a tight game and we're letting up the, wide open chances, like Aho was wide open behind Brandon Smith and got that puck basically right in Vitek's lap. So there's things they need to clean up for sure. Was it an awesome win?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Am I pumped? Hell yeah. Am I excited? Hell yeah. Was it a great day? F yeah. But there's still a lot of things that they're pretty messy. They should not have let up 4 goals at all, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. And we were talking about this after dark, and technically with that the penalty shot, that was a shorthanded goal, and the last 3 goals were shorthanded goals technically. So the good thing is that's a correctable mistake. That's a defensive breakdown, and you can correct those mistakes. But on the flip side of that, Vitek needs to make some of those stops on those 2 shorthanded goals. And I like much like you, live. So I have to go back and look at how he let them in. But with those 2 shorthanded goals back to back, it was like let's see, 7:21 and 8:11, less than a minute apart. That's 2 shots in a row, and you never, as a goaltender, and I'm trying to watch them now, but you never, as a goaltender, want to let in 2 shots in a row because that's just not good.
And the second one was a partial breakaway, and the first one I believe was a 2-on-1, and it's
it was a 2-on-1.
It's Stahl. It's Stahl he's a hell. It's not like it's some bum who's taking a shot on him, but still the situation. So I could be dead wrong about this. Like I said, I was watching it live, so like trying to rethink about how everything was going down. The 2 plays that ended up happening, they're passing D to D where they're at the top and one of the Canes players just kind of jumped the play. And it wasn't like it just felt like the Devils were getting too comfortable. Like, yeah, you're up 7-2. You should be comfortable. You should be able to put your feet up and smoke a cigar and call it a day. But at the same time, you don't want to leave mistakes out there because that can leach into the next game. So, like tighten up, keep everything clean.
It can, but again, stuff like that is correctable. You can definitely make corrections on that, which is a good thing. But the first one was a 2-on-1 and a bit of a defensive lapse. The second one I have to look at. I'm trying to watch, but trying to do 2 things at once. It's when you have 15 minutes in between getting home and getting on the podcast, you can't really rewatch stuff. After being on an hour podcast after the game, so you really can't rewatch stuff. But I know you said your heart and your head say Vitek because we got the win, but I would not be nice, very nice.
Yes,
I elected not to have another beer tonight. I had plenty today, but I don't know. And I said this on Devils After Dark. I don't know what the Devils are going to do goaltending wise. I would almost feel more comfortable going back to Schmid. I feel like he reacts well to a situation like this. And I would not be surprised if they went to Schmid, and I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with Vitek. Like, nothing is going to surprise me with what the Devils do. And I think it's one of those things to where we're going to find out on probably Tuesday
But do you get away?
with who's
Do
in
you
the
get away
starters
from
net.
VTech? You get away from VTech even though he got you the win. Isn't it like the whole like
So
ride the hot hand kind of blah blah blah?
it is, but something about his game watching it has not led me
Steven
to feel
Engel, no thank you.
comfortable. Something about watching his game, it just doesn't make me comfortable. It's there's some nerves watching him, and I want to say that that's his style of play. I guarantee he grew up idolizing someone like Dominic Hasek, who is a very frantic style of goalie, and whereas Schmid is not. And I don't know.
But-
It's there's something about his game right now that's just, and I love VTech, and I've talked about VTech all season. I do like him. I enjoy him as a goalie. I'm glad we have him, but there's something about his game right now that just doesn't make me have full confidence in him. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. Like it's I'm glad I'm not making these decisions. If people want to pay me millions of dollars to make these decisions, by all means, I'll take the paycheck and make decisions. I can't guarantee I'll get them right. But we're going to see it. But what I do know is this: I have a feeling that the Devils are confident playing in front of both of them, because let's not shy away from the fact that Vitek had a career season in the regular season.
Yes.
But when you look at his postseason record, today was only his second win in 8 postseason games. So that's got to say something as well. But again, in the 2 games against the Rangers, the Devils could not score. The Devils couldn't put it together in front of him. There's 2 games against the Rangers with him in net. So it's like a 6-1, half dozen the other. It's like, whose fault really is it?
And that's how I feel about game 1 and 2 in this series. Was it Schmid's fault? I mean, did the Canes figure him out? Did they find his weakness and expose it? And is that what happened? Or was it just like the Devils were not playing their game, not playing defensively sound enough in front of him, and leaving him exposed on these opportunities that you could have, Shesterkin in net, who would make, it wouldn't make a difference. So
yeah,
that's really the question.
So the only thing that I have against the first 2 games with Schmid is I feel like that they somewhat figured him out, because they scored up high quite often, and I feel like that was
and that's
what the Rangers did as well.
Most of their goals are in that spot.
Yeah,
even tonight.
And but Carolina's a relentless team, and they go at you. They go at you. They hammer you, and they're good like that. And they had success in the regular season. They were first in the Metro for a reason. So they're a good team, and that's what we have to figure out, and that's what we're in the process of figuring out right now. We just need either Schmid or VTech to take the reins. Right now, I told Scotty earlier, right now, I don't think we have a starting goaltender right now. I think it's whoever's going to be playing best. Whoever's playing best going into that next game is going to be the starter, and that's that.
And do you think maybe, just maybe, they go with Schmid also because they view this game as he's had a few days off and he's had some rest?
Could be. It very well could be.
And defensively too. Like, I think I don't think you can take Luke Hughes out anymore. I think he's has to pretty much stay in there. Gravy being hurt, who knows how long he's going to be out.
Yeah.
But
it's,
I don't know, man.
I thought Luke. I was there with one of my teammates, my buddy Joey, today, and we were both watching Luke. Luke was playing tonight like he had played in a bunch of playoff games before. He did not look shy. He did not look scared.
Jumped into play a bunch.
He started. We started the 4th line too, but and not for nothing. I know Sam. I know as much as Sam loves Severson. I thought Severson was a great pairing for him because Severson is kind of that stalwart guy, and that would give Luke a little bit of freedom to, go north-south with the puck if he needed to. But Luke did not look out of place as a rookie who was just in the NCAA finals at the beginning of
He was
April.
19.
19 in the NCAA finals in the beginning of April, is now in a critical Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals in the beginning of May. He looked like he's been in the playoffs before, and I thought
And
that was fantastic. And looking stat wise, 2 assists, and he was even
Mhm.
on the night. So it's not
even
like
on
he
the
was
night,
even
14 plus minutes for
14
the
plus
entire
minutes.
game.
Yeah,
It's pretty damn good. Yes, he did have a few hiccups, and I know he was out there for the at least one of those power play against the shorthanded goals against.
Mhm.
And listen, that's going to happen. He's young and he's
Yeah.
dynamic, and he's going to make mistakes. But I also felt he had some really, really solid defensive plays tonight, beating
Mhm.
guys to the puck, beating guys to the corner, and not just beating them, but taking the puck and then skating it out of danger. And then there
Yeah.
was one play in particular where him and Severson were just kind of like all over the place. There was a play in front of the net where he was like basically in the corner, came shooting out of the corner and jumped into the play right in front of the net and saved like a golden opportunity for the Hurricanes. Would have had like an easy like kind of goal in front, and he jumped into the play right at the right time. I agree with you 100% where he seemed like he belonged out in the ice, and it wasn't like oh man, like this kid he floundered around out there. He got burned
Yeah.
on a couple of plays. Like, no, he played pretty damn good. Did he have like the most stellar game ever? No, but he did have a pretty damn good game.
He did better than I would have at 19 in a Stanley Cup Final critical Game
Sitting
3.
in the parking lot,
Like
picking your nose somewhere.
oh my gosh, like
Gutter is a tool.
he looked like a professional. But I want to say that Luke being in is what sparked Jack to be as good as he
Jack
was
had
today.
a night, boy.
Oh
Ooh,
my
he
gosh,
had a
Jack
night.
had a night. But if you notice, Jack had really good games when Luke was in the last 2 games of the regular season. Like Jack was pretty pumped to be playing with his brother. I think that says a lot for us in our future going forward. But that's for a discussion for a later time. Luke looked really good tonight. Luke looked like he's been there before, and that was, like I said, and that was coming from my conversation with my buddy, who's one of my trusted defensemen that I play with, and we're both real big hockey guys, both real big Devils fans, and both with a bit of a defensive mindset too. It's like, damn, he just did so well.
And he was noticeable. That was the thing
very,
too. Like it wasn't
noticeable.
like every time he was out in the ice, it wasn't like, yeah, obviously the crowd going Luke every time he touched the puck, which was
that was
super
fantastic.
Cool. But he was just his presence was noticeable, and there was a few like he drew a penalty. I think it was before they scored that 8th goal. He drew that penalty where he was skating through and Burns. Oh, it's when the Devils went had a 5-on-3, and then it like there was like 8. Yeah, there was 4
a 5-on-3 and then another 5-on-3. Yeah,
extended on 5-on-3. As he's skating the puck in, and he's actually weaving through the the defense, and then Brent Burns like chopped his stick in half.
Yep.
And by the way, dude, for what it's worth, Brent Burns is the man. Like that dude is so awesome, but I hate that he plays on the other team.
His beard is epic.
He's awesome.
But that's the type of penalty you're gonna get. That's the type of power play opportunity you're going to get with a player like Luke Hughes, who's dynamic like he is, where he can skate with the puck, and he's like Jack to where he's slippery with the puck, and really one of the only ways to really stop him is to do something that's going to be penalty inducing, which we saw, with Burns getting that penalty and going into the box, and it was definitely a hurricane party in the box at that point.
I like when there's 3 of them. They played 3 as company. By the way, that was
that was really good. That was really good. I would have loved to have seen us score on that 5-on-3 because we had some looks, but they were That just shows, but that also shows what Carolina is like defensively.
They're great at blocking shots.
They're
They're
great.
great at getting in the lanes.
Yes,
They're
they
great
are.
at keeping the play to the outside. Sounds very familiar
Mhm.
because that's what the Devils have been really. That's what the Devils did really well against the Rangers, is keeping all the play to the outside.
Yeah.
The
They
Devils'
play
goals
our
tonight.
game.
Yes, they're so. That's one of the things that this team and the Canes and the Devils are so similar in so many ways.
Mhm.
It's pretty ridiculous. But you look at the goals that the Devils scored tonight, and one of my favorite things about it was they were dirty, down low goals.
Mhm.
None of them were like the perfect snipe. Oh, maybe one or two, but for the most part, like you have to cycle through my head of all 8 of them. But tonight, starting with Timo's goal, first goal of the game, behind the net, goes backhand, forehand, boom, puts it in. You know, like just
Mhm.
a quick little wraparound, which, by the way, was set up by Jack.
Yep.
The only like replay that I did see after I got home when I was trying to eat dinner is Jack Hughes put that puck between his feet, just blindly back between his feet, found Timo. Timo backhand, forehand, puts it in on a little wraparound. But all the goals were dirty down low. And I think one of the
Mhm.
best parts about tonight is not only did they win 8-4, they scored 4 on Anderson. The Canes make it a goalie swap, and they score 4 more.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, and I forget the name of the other goaltender for the Canes right now. It's
It was their
eluding
backup.
me.
I'll look it up. You talk. I'll look it up.
But he comes into the game and he has a pretty rough go at it too. And for me, that's great because leading into the series, there was a controversy like who's going to be their starting goaltender. Is it going to be Anderson or is it going to be the other guy? And this kind of like is a great. This couldn't have happened better because if he came in and he was lights out and shut the Devils down the rest of the way, that could have given him confidence going into the next game. But I felt the Devils had the perfect game plan. They played pissed off tonight. Eric Halla,
Mhm.
dude, everybody in the stadium better be cheering his name next game. Gets into a fight with ex-Devil Nason, which, by the way,
It was
Nason
great.
should have gotten a misconduct because after Hall went to the ground, Nason kept on taking a couple more shots and actually grabbed the referee and pulled the referee off of him.
I mean, Holla lost his
Kochetkov?
balance.
Kochetkov?
Kochetkov, I believe is how it is.
Thank
and
you,
that's what I
Steven.
was trying to tell you. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, I had it up. I was just waiting for you to stop talking, but Kochetkov went in, and that's because Raanta has been ill the last 2 games, so Raanta was not able to go in. I'm curious if that would have been a difference with if Raanta was available for as a backup tonight.
That's a
But
good point.
watching that Holla tilt, he definitely lost his balance, and Nason, fell onto him, and yeah, he gave him a couple extra shots. But if you're going to go into a tilt like that, and you're going to take a couple extra shots because it's the playoffs.
It's
So
the
it's like,
playoffs.
what the hell? Why
It's
not?
playoffs. It's the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the playoffs. Um, it's overall. I'm glad we won 8-4. I'm also annoyed we won 8-4 because we shouldn't have to win 8-4. But
Yes.
it is what it is. That's my defensive mind. That's what I was talking about earlier tonight. I would have loved to have seen an 8-1, 8-0 win.
8-1 would have been sweet. 8-2, even 8-2 would have been nice.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Those 2 extra goals that they scored really pissed me off.
It was annoying.
And by the
It was
way,
annoying.
the play where Dougie Hamilton took the I forget what they call him for slashing on that, where
Something like that, yeah.
it looked like he popped his stick. It looked like he got under a stick and popped the stick. He didn't hook him. It was such a quick play, and the fact that they awarded him a penalty shot, I thought was a little much.
Yeah, I have to rewatch.
Considering if you watch in the Ranger series, Timo Meyer had that breakaway, and then Patty Kane basically bear hugged him so he couldn't take a shot, and he didn't get a penalty shot on that. I thought that was kind of stupid, but
I mean, it's we can have a whole 5-day series on the officiating in this playoff year this year. But we're not gonna let's not go there. But yeah, I have to look at the call that led to that penalty shot because from where I was in the opposite end of the rink, so I couldn't really see very closely about how or what it was. And the refs kind of like sort of pointed to the dot in the center, but sort of didn't. And then they pointed to the dot. It's like, wait, is this penalty shot? Is it not? Because I don't even think Hamilton knew because Hamilton went to the box. He went
Yeah.
towards the box, and they were like, no, it's a penalty shot. It's like the refs, I don't even know if they were sure it was it was a penalty shot at the
Yeah.
time,
It
or
was
that
a
they
weird.
wanted to
This
award
game
it.
was weird in so many different ways. It was a very bizarre game. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
And I mean, the atmosphere was great. And this is one thing too. Like the Rock, was it 100% full? No, but was it awesome seeing it 98% Devil fans?
oh yeah,
Yes, 100%, dude. Like that was so. Like in the last series, yeah, it's fantastic. But you know, the amount of blue that was in the last series was nauseating. This was it was just so much fun because you walk into corridors, you see like one or two Kane jerseys, but even that you're like, hey, how you doing? Whatever. You don't threaten me at all. But
yeah.
like, just it
You don't
felt
have,
comfortable. It felt fun. It felt great.
yeah, you don't have to worry about. Am I going to walk through the concourse and is someone going to, I don't know,
Say something
take
stupid.
say something stupid, take a swing? Because as I know, not every Ranger fan is like that. Because we know that there are really good Ranger fans, like some fans of the podcast. Like my real good buddy Matt Banky, who listens to us occasionally. Most,
Yep.
listens
My
to
buddy Kevin, same.
hockey on tap on Mondays. Billy Dean from Hockey on Tap.
Yep, love Billy
They
Dean.
have just made. They're not bad people. They've just made poor life decisions. But there are
Yes.
some bad apples. And I know the Devils, there are bad apple Devil fans too, so I'm not going to play like we're we're the
Sports, all
best, but
sports.
all sports. But there are definitely, I mean, most of us saw the video of that Ranger fan that punched the Woo Crew guy. It's like, really? Do you really need to do that? Like, that was stupid.
So stupid.
And it's just, you don't have to worry about that right now. Like, you can walk through the concourse, and it's like there's a little bit of banter between us and Canes fans, but
Mhm.
it's not hostile like the
No.
Rangers fans are. And that's the big difference. There's no hostility, where during the Rangers series there was hostility, and they
Yes.
were annoying at times, very annoying at times. But it was just it was a lot of fun to be there, and it was a good time. I even ran into a good friend of the podcast, Grant Marshall, in the concourse tonight.
Yay.
It was so good.
I heard he tussled your hair and said, "What is this?"
No, he didn't. He didn't tussle my hair. He was just like, "What's with the hair?" So I kind of explained to him real quick why it was red, but it was good to see him. And
That's
it's great to
awesome.
see these guys roaming around the building. Um,
Yes.
it's just, that's the type of atmosphere that we need, and that's the type of atmosphere that we got to live with right now, which is great.
And
So
I hope on Tuesday it'll be just as loud and just as bumping. And I overheard a guy the other day. I went to a bar to watch the second period of game 2, and
mhm.
as I was sitting at the bar, there was a bunch of Devils fans sitting there. I was like, I was pretty excited, although they let up a couple goals real quick, and I was like, well, this sucks real bad. And this one guy looks at his phone and he goes, well, I just unloaded my tickets for next game. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, don't do that. Just go to the
Fickle.
game. Like, don't be a sourpuss because we're down in the series. We've already proven that, it doesn't matter if you're down 0-2, that there's a chance. There's always a chance to come back. Don't
Mhm.
be a sourpuss. I mean, come on, suck it up, Buttercup. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
I mean, that's short-sighted. That's short-sightedness to a T right there. It's like, well, we're down 2-0, which we know, down 2-0. I mean, David Decker spoke about it today on Game Day Live. If you look at the history of this team, we were down 3-1 against the Flyers when we beat them.
Yeah.
We've been down before, and we've come back before. It's possible. We were down 2-0 a week and a half ago, and look where we are now. We're in the second round. And we're now down only 2-1, and that's also partially the beauty of the Stanley Cup playoffs, is you can be down
Oh,
2-0.
poor Max. Max is in
You can be,
traffic. Max, I'm so sorry. He's
oh
in traffic in
Max,
Connecticut.
it was,
Connecticut
by the
driving
way,
sucks.
oh my gosh, by the way, it was fantastic to see Max today. So Max, it was a fun time with you at the bar. Max had a hat trick of chugs tonight
Nice.
on Devils After Dark. And Max, thank you for coming out. Thank you for being a good friend of the show, and a good friend of Sam and I, and just hanging out today. It was a ton of fun. So Max, I really hope that traffic breaks through Connecticut, because after I lived in Connecticut for 4 years, and that traffic I know really can suck, like big time.
Yeah, dude, it's always fun meeting people. Like, guys, if you ever see us in a game, or if you ever see us like doing a live event, like, feel free to come over and say what's up. We're pretty good people. You know, I could speak for the three of us.
Yeah,
Scotty, I don't know as much. No, I'm just kidding. I've known Scotty for
Scotty's
over
sketchy
20
as
years
anything.
now. No, I've known him for over 20 years. He's one of the nicest guys going out there. But yeah, dude, it's so fun. Like, meeting people. I was walking through the concourse with my daughter, you know, bumped into a fan and said hello, and it's fun. It's cool to like just say hello to people, and we're just like we're normal dudes too. We just like get to talk on a microphone. That's about it.
Yeah, we're normal guys that get to talk about hockey because we have Sam. That's the only reason we get to do this.
Thanks, Sam.
Because we have the great Sam Wu. So thank you, Sam, for doing that. But yeah, I met a couple of people today as well. Please for everyone that ever says hello to us, at least speaking for me, never get offended if we've met before and I forget your name, because
I forget names all the time.
Like,
we're teachers, dude. We have to memorize like hundreds of names.
Yeah, well, and that's I was just gonna say, like, I tell my students, just you got to give me like 3 weeks before every day of seeing you to remember your name. And
listen,
and if I remember your name in the first 2 days of school, usually it's not good.
Yeah, so, dude, I always say if I remember your name right away, it's either really good or really bad.
Yeah, and usually it's really bad. But
it's usually really bad.
Please never get offended if for some reason, and for a lot of people too, when we meet you, it's like we've also only seen you or heard of you by your online, you know, your Twitter handle, your YouTube username, and stuff like that. So it's like sometimes it's like a face with a name. That's, you know, sometimes for some of us, that's too many pieces of a puzzle to put together. So it just takes a little bit of time. But like, I know Max, like when I see Max again, it'll be good to see him again. You know, we spent some time together at the bar. It's just one of those things where but that's the great thing about having what we do at American Whiskey, is because we can be there with the people, and like, especially in these playoff games, like we can be outside amongst the people, and that's really where we enjoy being for these games. And today was no different. Like the vibe on Edison Place was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The vibe in American Whiskey was awesome. We brought that vibe into the arena. The Devils responded. Devils came out. They won big. And now really the big thing, Beer Baron, they got to do it again on Tuesday so that we can go back on Saturday of next weekend.
Yes.
Do it again.
And hopefully wrap it up next Saturday.
That
or
would be
this coming
fantastic.
Saturday. That would be fantastic. Let me tell you what, the best part about what happened today is the overall feeling going into the building and then walking out. One of my favorite things in the world is when you're walking into the rotunda or whatever, you know, those going down the stairs and everybody is just going absolutely crazy.
Nuts.
And the Let's Go
Just
Devils
going
chants
nuts.
are going, and it's just reverberating off of the glass, and just like everybody's just so jacked up.
Yep.
I have to say I loved Continental. And if you're an old school Devils fan like we are, and if you grew up in the 80s, and if you know, got to watch them win 3 cups and go to 5, and you got to see, you know, Stanley Cup championships won in Continental, you'll always have war stories from the you know, the tunnel walking over. You have great stories about tailgating, tailgating in the parking lot, and just all the fun that we had playing street hockey in the middle of the parking lot.
Yep.
Like all these great things that used to happen at Continental, but having the bars right outside of, especially American Whiskey, you know, this whole vibe, the whole setup when you're out in the street, Championship Plaza, everybody just having a good time, having a couple of drinks, like. I don't know, man. It took a while for that to grow on me, but I love it. I absolutely love the atmosphere.
It's what we've been waiting for. It's what we've been waiting for. And someone needs to step up and get a big screen out there on Edison Place so we can just sit outside on the street and have beers and watch the game outside like they do in Toronto, like they do in Edmonton, like they do in Winnipeg. They've done in Tampa. Like, this is what we need to do, and that's what I'm waiting for, to get there one day and be like, there's a big screen here, and I'm just going to watch the game from here. So Sam, maybe that's something we can work on, getting a big screen outside, like a big screen.
I know people. I know some people.
Sam
knows
people. I know people. Beer Baron knows people. If we need to, we can employ Schwim from Hockey on Tap because he's really good at, let's say, finding large screens for free.
Mm-hmm.
Long-term leasing.
Long-term
Long-term
leasing, yes.
Didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Hey, well, you know what, boys? Maybe we're at the time of the show to do a little wrap up and our final thoughts here.
Yep.
I'm going to go first. First of all, I do want to say update for those of you that weren't watching. The Toronto Maple Leafs are now down 3-0 in that series.
Gosh.
Woof. Wow.
Yeah.
Did I call the Panthers in that series? Because I don't remember. I probably called Toronto.
Let me look.
I probably said
bring up
Toronto.
the, hold on. You may have gone Panthers. I need to find our spreadsheet. I do have the spreadsheet.
Well, while you're looking that up, I will say this. One of my favorite things about tonight, too, is spending this time with my daughter and having my 7-year-old daughter with me at the game is memories that I'll never forget. And it's so awesome just being able to share this with her and, like, go to the game. We get there a little bit early. We go down to the glass. We're watching warm-ups. She made an awesome sign by herself. I'll have to bring it on the podcast next time if I remember to. But it says, like, let's go Devils on it. And you know how everybody, all the kids always ask, like, hey, give me a free puck or free stick, which is fine. Instead of that, she wrote on the bottom, tap here for good luck. And so she put the sign up against the glass. And I don't know if he was looking at it, but Nate Bastian looked right down at the sign, looked at her, and, like, skated right towards it and jumped right into the glass, right into her sign. Which I thought, like, the look on her face and, like, how pumped she was about that. It was, like, the coolest moment. So these little moments, as fun as this has been and as fun as it is to, like, talk about it, these memories that you make with your friends, with your family, this is really what it's all about. And cherishing those moments and really, really enjoying them for what they are.
Well, I applaud you for that. And it sounds like she has got an artistic gene, which could come from you or come from your artistic all around can do everything wife. And you do everything. Yes. And you did pick Toronto in 7, so you're still alive in that pick. I picked Florida in 6, so let it be known. But my final thought is today was a damn good day. The Devils won. The Devils have to do it again Tuesday, and I think this is my first hat trick of podcasts that I've done ever.
Time to go to sleep.
Oh my, you have no idea.
Sam?
Oh, it's my turn? All right.
It's your turn, yeah.
My final thoughts. Come back, kids. They're a gritty team. They have learned how to go hard to the net, cause trouble. Even Jack Hughes is fighting. They are learning how to will themselves to win. And for a long time now, I thought the team itself, for a very long time, I was like, does this team even have it? I'm talking about a couple of years ago. Does this organization have it? It's all these analytics. But they wanted it more tonight. They wanted it. They at all costs. And it's just a pleasure to watch because we know they're a young team. But it's kind of like you guys are teachers. You get a thrill when a student who had struggled for an art project or on a test taking finally got to the finish line.
Figures it out.
It figures it out. You're like all that hard work, like Lindy Ruff, all that hard work. You finally you did it, and the team is learning. And there were a lot of mistakes made in the first 2 games. But my final thought is this team learns very quickly. But you have to fail first before you can learn. And
it's true.
And if they can live another day, by winning on Tuesday to force a game 6 on the schedule, that's a big deal, a real big deal. Because the more games they play, guys, it will bode well in the future with that quote-unquote experience that the Rangers apparently had. But anyway.
Works for me, Sammy. Sounds good. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, I just before we go, I just want to give a shout out to Frank the Tank at American Whiskey. Just behind the scenes, the guy gets it done.
Oh my
Always.
gosh!
He gets
Big
it
thank you to
always.
him, and everyone else at American Whiskey for not only treating us as good as they do, but for taking care of everyone, whether they're getting food or whatever. Everyone at American Whiskey is just top notch, and it's been a great home for us. And the more these Devils win games, the longer we get to be there. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm also still searching
Looking for the
that
button.
Yeah. For the
One of these days,
Come on,
Sam,
man.
you'll remember where that button is.
yeah.
Be prepared.
Yeah, one of these days, Shorts Guy, you'll remember when David Decker's doing a speech to actually unmute him.
Listen, I'm not a producer, dude. I'm a host. I'm a stupid host. I'm a storyteller and a stupid host. I'm not a producer.
Oh, one button.
You know what?
Oh my God.
You know what, Sam? Sam,
What?
when you pay me as a producer, I'll remember how to produce.
Oh,
Instead,
okay.
When you
For as
pay us,
long as-
period.
I was just going to say,
All
for
right.
as long as you pay me as a host, which is
All
nothing.
right. So basically, you're gonna pay to complain, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I'll complain either way, I'm sure, but
Yeah. All right. Getting out of here, dropping the podcast at midnight for your morning and afternoon commute. The Morning Woo tomorrow. Be there or be square. Till next time, let's go Devils.